that was amazing. Mr. Doug Aldrich is here in my studio. Super happy to have you here today.
Thanks for having me. You know, it's awesome.
Good to see you.
But I know that he doesn't let a lot of people in here, and I had to bribe him.
No, it's an honor really to have you here. You sound amazing. Incredible playing as always.
You know, it's more about just kind of digging these things, you know, these pedals. So, but thank you for that.
Yeah. This is what you were playing through. I mean, which is this is the amp right here, right?
Yeah, that is the amp. As I've gotten a little bit older, it's sometimes cool to have different rigs for different things instead of always bringing the same rig all the time. And this is a pedal that the Baroni guys and Fox Gear guys have put together for me. That's basically a 120 watt amp in the pedal, and it's got a clean channel and a dirty channel for certain situations. You know, I mean, like we were talking earlier, there's other times when you got to bring your big stuff. You know, you got to do it. But there's times when this is perfect, jamming with friends or smaller clubs. I just did a run in Europe where this was my main source, and all you had to do is get a 4x12.
Wow.
So this thing drives a 4x12, and it sounds insane for what it is. It's look the size of it. It just sits on the pedal board. You can run some pedals in front and in the loop.
Sure.
And it's easy.
So it has an effects loop in it.
Yep.
That's really cool. So you can run post distortion. You can get some delay and reverb and stuff happening.
And it's really beautiful sounding.
Yeah, I mean, we had it cranked up pretty good in here. As you probably hear from the video, there's feedback and all kinds of good stuff happening in there because it's actually got a lot of juice. I mean, I think we had the master up on about probably 2 o'clock or 2:30, so there's still some more range there. And actually, I've got to run through a 212 cabinet in here that I should probably be careful with, because get it up too high with 120 watts, I might blow up that 212.
When you go down to 4 ohms, it's actually 120. When you go up to 16, it goes down a little bit.
Okay, right.
But I've been running it through 16 ohm 4x12 cabinet, either a Marshall or a Sur or whatever, and it sounds really good.
Yeah.
And you're right. It's got a really cool harmonic content to it that I'm not sure, you know, how that stuff translates on the video, but when you hear it, when you're staying in front of it, it's really got a cool thing to it. It's not meant to replace your tube amp. It's meant to be an extra go-to backline.
Yeah, well, I mean,
your backline.
Obviously, like backstage, like practicing the ultimate backup amp, and if you're, you know, doing a clinic tour or you're, I can just see all kinds of situations where this would be a great thing to have. I get a lot of questions about things like this. Like, what's a great pedal board solution for, you know? And now I've got a good answer to tell people if they want something simple for their pedal board, they want to use pedals.
But you know, for guys like us, there's nothing like hearing the sound hit your legs, you know?
Right.
There's nothing like that, and feedback and stuff as well. But
so the fact that you can plug it into a cabinet is pretty special, because there's not a lot of things out here like this. I mean, I know there's other products out there. There's little like pedal board power amps and things that you can use with other pedals as preamps, but I can't think of very many full-on amplifiers. I mean, I can count them on one hand, the ones on the market that have a full EQ, gain section and all that stuff, and then you can drive a cabinet with it.
Like you say, there's a few things, but I've played a few things, and this is by far the closest to the type of British 100 watt amp that I'm used to.
Yeah,
I was slamming it with periodically, just messing around. You know, we were just kind of playing around, but this thing set just to a really slight little boost. It's a pedal made by Fox Gear called the Rider, and it's a really nice distortion overdrive with a filter, and it's got the output and then the gain, and just a little bit of gain slam in the front of this thing was really cool.
Yeah, essentially you've almost got like a 3-channel setup then, right? You can go clean, dirty crunch, and then hit it with this for over the top, and so this is your signature pedal as well, the Rider.
Yeah, well, you know, I didn't ask for it; they just made it for me. That's my son's name, and I thought, okay, they got me, you know.
Right.
But I was like, I'm not sure, you know, if I really want to do that yet or anything like that. But I heard it, and I thought, man, this thing's wicked.
Oh, great.
So it sounds really good with the DLA mini amp, but through any amp, this thing is really cool. And this filter, you know, I'm not really sure exactly what the difference between this and if a pedal said tone on it.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm not really sure what the difference is, but I really like this, that it kind of notch filters the tone that you're looking for.
Interesting. Yeah.
And then one other thing is the price of these things is like crazy. It's like $98 or something like that.
Right, they have a full line of pedals that are like, I think everything's under $100 except for maybe one of the delays, which is like 109 or something, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So Fox Gear is coming out with all this stuff, and they presented me with that, and I really dug it a lot.
We should maybe hook this up through. Let's just so people have a frame of reference. Let's just do a little bit of this guy through like a Marshall and see what that sounds like, and then people can hear that.
Yep. One time when I was doing a thing with my buddy Brian Tishy, who you know.
Yeah.
And he's doing the Bonzo Bash.
Okay.
Where he's got a lot of different drummers coming, and so basically I had to learn probably 30 or 35 Zeppelin songs. Crazy amount of stuff to learn.
Yeah.
But I was looking for, I have an older Marshall that was kind of closer to that thing, a little less gainy.
Yeah.
But it didn't have an effects loop. So I thought, let me hook this up stereo, and I had my effects in it, and I had the gain down on basically almost as low as you could get. It was just a really nice kind of a plexi type, and it matched up really well with the real plexi.
Oh, cool.
So then I had some delays and some reverb and stuff out of that one side of the rig.
So you were using both together, kind of in stereo, with this one on one side.
It wasn't true stereo, but it was definitely a good blend for the sound man, so he could go. And I liked it because even if the sound man just took the straight dry amp and did whatever he wanted to it, I still got on stage some effects with that. And it's instead of bringing two amps, you can just get the effects. Basically meaning that the effects don't have to be quite as loud or as big as the other thing. You can kind of blend this underneath, so it's a really versatile tool.
You're making me think of another way you could probably use this, which is like, in my rig where I'm splitting to stereo and using the effects loops, you could probably use this as your second half of stereo. Like, in other words, come out of a head, send, right, like an amp like my amp or something, the PT amps, come out of the send into a stereo effect, split the stereo, go one half back to your head and the other half back to the return on.
You could, and I'm going to tell you one thing you got to do though. If you do that, you got to get an out of phase speaker cable.
Oh, right, just in case
because generally with amps like the ones that we have, a lot of them, most of the time the speakers will be out of phase when you do that.
Yeah.
And that's how it was with the plexi. I don't know what the thing is, but it's an easy fix. I always have one anyways, because you never know when you're doing a gig and you got rental gear and it's all goofball stuff. And so I always carry an out of phase speaker cable.
Always good to
just
have,
in case,
Pro tip. Well, it's cool, man. This is a really great thing. I mean, you can look at this thing. It's super small. You throw it in your gig bag, and you've always got an amp with you then to use for whether it's your main thing or whether it's your backup rig, backstage practice. Take it up to the hotel room and record with it because it's got a DI out with speaker sim.
I was in the studio in Nashville with the Dead Daisies, and we were recording at Marty Fredrickson's studio. Well, he's an LA guy, but he's big in Nashville and co-writes with Aerosmith and Carrie Underwood and all these Nashville people.
Yeah.
And he heard that thing and he's like, dude, that's the sound. We got to, and I'm like, hold on. We can use it, but I mean, there's a lot of different amps I want to use, you know?
Right.
But he was like, you got to send me one of those things, because it's like an easy, if you're tracking and you're not really, you know, you just need to get up and running fast.
Yeah.
That's what I love about it. It's not deep. It's super easy to get a good sound out of it. And then some, you know, at that studio, a bunch of guys would stop by, guys from Alice Cooper's band, guys from Skid Row, whatever. And everybody, I was just like, it started to get around town. There's this little amp. I took it over to Carter's Vintage. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that or not, but
oh, sure.
I took it over to my buddy. My buddy works there, and I was like, you got to check this thing out. Not really because I was trying to flog it or sell it or anything, just because I thought it was really cool. I've never gotten a sound like that out of that small of a thing.
Thanks for stopping by and showing me this thing. It's amazing. What have you been up to? Tell me what you got coming up. And,
my main gig is the Dead Daisies.
Sure.
I have a lot of fun with that. Working with those guys is a blast. They're all friends of mine. You know, Marco Mendoza and Dean Castronova on drums, John Corabi.
Wow.
And David Lowy is he's the main guy. He's the boss. He's a great guitar player. He's got a really, you would love it, because he's got a very youthful, aggressive style that is, it's not something that, you know, like after years and years and years of playing, I watch him, I'm like, I got to go back to that sometimes. It's just like aggressive and youthful and just pissed off sounding. It's great.
Amazing.
So together, it works out really well guitar wise. Yeah. And then also I have a band called Burning Rain. Right. That is, it's kind of my pet band that I've had for years. Never could really focus on it too much, because when I got in the band together with Keith St. John, we both started getting offers for other things. He went off and played with Montrose.
Sure.
I went to Dio and then went to Whitesnake for 12 years after that. And so it was very hard to make it work. But we put out a new record in March of this year. It's called Face the Music, and it's pretty cool. It's awesome. It's very different than anything else that I do. So
yeah, that's the first time I heard of you was Burning Rain, because this was your band going back. When did you start Burning Rain? It was like
98.
98, right?
Yeah. It was a while back, but we kind of had a sound that was similar to. It wasn't so far away from, like, you know, parts of Whitesnake, and then there's some Van Halen influence, and I love Zeppelin. I don't play like Jimmy Page per se, but I love the structure of his riffs and stuff, and so there's some stuff like that on it. There's some acoustic stuff. I really started getting into more and more acoustic when I was working with Whitesnake, because that'd be how we'd write, with acoustics.
Really interesting. Yeah.
So yeah. And then it's easy, you know, if something sounds good on acoustic, it's easy to kind of pump it up with the band and you know, do a bigger demo or whatever, but knowing that you can strip it down to just some chords and it sounds good.
That's a really interesting point. Great way to the measure of a great song. You should be able to play it on acoustic guitar and have it translate, right?
Basically, I would take any challenge that anybody threw at me to figure out a way to play something on acoustic guitar. It's really fun if you adapt. Even something like a riffy thing, like a Still of the Night, you know, you could just strum it and sing Still of the Night, you know. Sure. You could do it, you know, kind of, or something like Life in the Fast Lane, you know. Yeah. Instead, you know, you would. So you might just do the. Just do something like that.
Yeah, a good song is a good song is a good song, right? It should be able to be played on acoustic guitar and come across. I would think that's awesome.
I love the sound of them too. I mean, obviously, the majority of time is spent on electric, but it's a beautiful sound, man. Yeah. It's
great to get back to it after not having played it for a while and just you know, pick up the acoustic. And go, oh yeah.
After this thing blows my ears out for a few hours, then it's nice to go back and kind of regain
pick up a Martin and just groove out on that. Right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Cool. Well, thanks again for stopping by, man. This
was
awesome.
Brother.
Yeah, appreciate it.
I'm strapped in.
Hey, you guys, down in the video description below, there's links to these terrific things that you've seen here today and listened to, as well as check out, you know, Doug's new record that he mentioned. I'm going to put a link to that down in the video description below, so you can check that out. All right, take it easy.